I'm Lili Tarkow-Reinisch. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been working with Harbor for a while now. I work with a variety of different patients from Harbor. What brings them closest together is that they've all suffered some form of trauma, and it's my job to do the detective work with them. The way that trauma impacts these individuals from high-profile families differently is that, to a large degree, there's a dichotomy in that, on the one hand, they can afford to be less exposed, and on the other hand, they're very exposed. So with the former, what happens is that because of material resources and wealth, a lot of their problems have gone either unseen or undefined for quite a long time. So the trauma has really embedded itself. And then on the other hand, whilst they have the wealth perhaps to seek help, there's such a fear of reputational damage, and also a fear of getting off that professional treadmill and how much can collapse. People of privilege often find themselves in this very precarious position, which is that despite having, say, the resources to seek help, that they would pay a huge price for seeking help. They pay a big price for stepping out of the public eye. And it's not just a risk of exposure and just genuine reputational damage, but they could actually lose profits. And as superficial as that sounds, there's a lot of people writing on the work that they do. So some of the common but overlooked signs of unresolved trauma are disordered eating, substance abuse, physical abuse to oneself, all different types of self-harm that are very difficult to identify. A lot of patterns within relationships that are highly dysfunctional and that just keep on repeating. Then you also have a kind of a pendulum of attachment issues or attachment injuries, such as you might have hypervigilance to a relationship, or on the other hand, you might have love avoidance. And a lot of these go underneath the radar, so to speak, because people are so used to covering up, and also because of their wealth or their privilege, people cover up for them. There's a veneer of success that one tries to maintain, perhaps, while they're very fractured within. And what that then means is that a person is very slow and even terrified of seeking help, because the moment they seek help, they probably think that the whole thing is going to come crashing down. So the pressure is continuous. And the media these days also they're waiting for you to mess up. They're waiting for you to show a vulnerability. When you show that vulnerability, it's not as if people clap and say, oh, that's fantastic. It's so great to know that the CEO is vulnerable. What they say is, how can it be that with all that privilege, this person is cracking up? And so you're judged on a very different level. The way that Harbor provides the sort of approach that they do and the level of care is that they have what we would call a whole person approach. The people who come to Harbor have very deep trauma, and they don't need people to go on and on about their success. What they need people to do at Harbor is to really go into the root of their trauma in a very balanced way, in a kind of clinically pedantic way. And what Harbor does is Harbor's not afraid of what someone's going to tell them. Whatever people have to say, Harbor has heard it before. There's nothing that's so awful that anyone at Harbor will judge them. And I think people have the sense straight away that not only are they not going to be judged, but whatever their predicament is, whatever ways in which they've suffered, whatever their trauma is, whatever shame that they feel, Harbor is there to go through the steps, the stages, and the phases with them. And Harbor doesn't have the expectation that what they're providing is a quick fix, because they want it to be a permanent reshuffling of that person's psyche and of that person's damage. And so Harbor takes things slowly, but at the same time, because there are many people on board working together, I think people are very surprised by how quickly things fall into place.